For millions of us, Antiques Roadshow is more than just a television show. It's a comforting ritual. It's the thrill of the hunt, the magic of discovery, and the hope that a dusty old painting in the attic could be a life-changing masterpiece. We watch, captivated, as families bring their heirlooms, their flea market finds, and their forgotten treasures to be judged by the wise and benevolent experts. It's a world of quiet dignity, fascinating history, and jaw-dropping moments of financial revelation. But what happens when the cameras stop rolling? What happens when the friendly smiles fade and the velvet ropes are put away? Behind the polished facade of this beloved institution lies a world of very human drama, a world of bitter feuds, bruised egos, and shocking mistakes that remind us that even in the world of priceless antiques, the most valuable stories are often the ones about people. Two particular stories have peeled back the curtain, revealing the tension and fallibility that simmered just beneath the surface. One involves a charismatic expert who felt betrayed by the very show he helped build, and the other, a masterpiece jug that turned out to be a high school art project. The Rebel Appraiser, Gary Sohmers' stand. If you were a fan of the American Antiques Roadshow in the early 2000s, you'd instantly recognize Gary Sohmers. With his signature long ponytail, vibrant Hawaiian shirts, and an encyclopedic knowledge of pop culture collectibles, he was less like a stuffy appraiser and more like the cool, rock and roll uncle of the antiques world. He brought an energy and accessibility to the show that was magnetic. But behind his easygoing demeanor was a growing frustration with the show's rigid corporate structure, a frustration that would eventually boil over into a hostile public feud. To understand Sohmers' battle, you first have to understand the surprising reality for the appraisers on the show. We see them as the stars, the gatekeepers of history and value. We assume they are handsomely paid for their world-class expertise. The shocking truth? They aren't. The independent appraisers who make the show possible do it on their own dime. They cover their own airfare, their own hotel rooms, and their own meals, all for the chance to appear on television for a few fleeting minutes. It's a labor of love, a passion project fueled by a desire to share their knowledge, and of course, the potential exposure that comes with being on a top-rated national program. For years, this unspoken agreement worked, but for an entrepreneur like Sohmers, who actively promoted his business online, the show's limitations began to feel less like a partnership and more like a gilded cage. The conflict reached its breaking point in 2012. According to a report by E-commerce Bytes, Sohmers was allegedly confronted by the show's producer, Marcia Bemko, for having the audacity to appear on a Miami radio show to talk about his work. The implication was clear. Your expertise belongs to us when you're on our clock, but don't you dare try to build your own brand with it. This confrontation was the spark that lit the fuse. Sohmers felt that the show's executives wanted to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted the free labor of top-tier experts, but offered little in return, even restricting their ability to earn a living outside the show. The dispute escalated and soon, lawyers were involved. Sohmers received a sterile corporate letter from WGBA's counsel, Eric Brass, vaguely promising to make contact information for past appraisers more available on the website. For Sohmers, this letter was a slap in the face. It was a legalistic non-answer that, in his words, failed to address 90% of the issues. The core of the problem remained, the deeply unequal relationship between the network and the experts who were the very heart of the show. His frustration culminated in a poignant public question that hung in the air. The question remains: will I be invited to appear as an appraiser this season in an environment that is not hostile to me? It was a heartbreaking query from a man who had dedicated years to the program, only to feel pushed out for trying to be his own person. The $50,000 mistake, a jug full of surprises. While Sohmers' fight was about the human cost behind the scenes, another controversy revealed just how human the experts themselves could be. It's the story of Alvin Bear and his grotesque face jug, a tale that embodies every treasure hunter's wildest dream, followed by a reality check of epic proportions. The scene was classic Antiques Roadshow. In 2016, a hopeful guest named Alvin Bear, a resident of South Carolina, stood before appraiser Stephen Fletcher. In his hands, he held a bizarre, multi-faced ceramic jug he picked up for $300 at a sale in Oregon. It was strange, compelling, and utterly unique. Fletcher was enthralled. He turned the piece over in his hands, his expert eyes scanning every